What is good, Hellraisers? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Today we're going to be talking about a new and upcoming game called the First Descendant. Now this is a game that I started playing almost a week ago. It came out in beginning of July, so it's been around like 3 weeks now. Everybody's going crazy about it. There's millions of players going on, and it's a pretty nice game. I actually like it. The story mode is quite nice. Very nice graphics. It is a very time-consuming and grinding game, and even though I've only been playing for a week, I've put in countless hours. I've already finished the story mode, and now of course it's the post story mode grinding until season 1 comes out, because it first came out with season 0. And yeah, we do have a lot of unlockables, and a lot of the parts where you have to complete the story. A lot of the bottlenecks, I'd say, are the void intercept battles, which are basically the Colossi or the bosses, and that's what we'll be covering in this video. Now a lot of them you can do them with a huge amount of people, usually a group of 4. But here I wanted to show you guys the best build for AJAX post the update of the 1.09 update that was yesterday, I believe. And of course with the best weapon right now, which remains even after the updates, is the Tamer. Now the Tamer, of course, you can find it in different levels. Usually you can start with 41, I think it's the beginning of the game, but once you level up a bit, you have these conversion kits that you can change levels or interchange levels between any other weapon. So as soon as you see a high level weapon, you can change it with the Tamer in order to increase its level. Now you don't have to be level 100 Tamer to do this, but it would highly help. Now before I go into all the details of the build for AJAX and the Tamer, let's look at all the battles just to see if it's what you're looking for, and then we'll be back with the details. we're back with all the Colossi kills. Of course, I did all of them on the normal mode. Just to show you guys that you don't really need to grind post-game in order to do all the other remaining stuff. As far as the Hangman is the only one that you can't do solo, because in order to kill him you need to have someone who's running around with the cube. So we did not do the build for that one, but this is the exact build that I used for the Hangman in order to defeat it. And of course with a great teamwork, because otherwise you're going to be killed with a one shot no matter what your setup is. Now before we go into the tamer, let me go with the Descendant modules. Now as far as AJAX goes, these are the best models that I found that you could go with. The Void Charge, this really increases the Void Walk attack and damage, which is pretty much very important when it regards to Colossi, but also normal missions. In Colossi, where you have all these small spawns, all you have to do is jump once and usually kills everybody. And of course the other missions such as the special ops and so on and so forth, you can actually cover one area by yourself just with this one, and actually is going to recharge much faster the higher you upgrade it. The second one is the increased HP. Now I believe no matter which Descendant you go with, everybody's going to be benefiting from an increased HP. The non-attribute specialist, now again this one really depends on which Descendant you're with, but since we're going with AJAX and he is a non-specialist, this one is basically the best one of the other ones that you can go with instead of going for electric and so on and so forth. The next one is the nimble fingers, and this one is gonna decrease the skill cooldown by 25.6%. This is important since a lot of the skills that AJAX has are pretty strong. The next one is the sub attack. For the sub attack I went with kicking, but you can go with anyone that you want. Honestly, kicking is not my favorite, but it's just that I keep on switching just to see how the game goes. The next one we're going to go with is the skill expansion. As far as skill expansion, is going to give you a skill effect range of 66.5%, especially for the second one where you have that charge with the AJAX. It's going to kill for a larger variety of enemies. It applies to certain skills for each Descendant. I think for AJAX it really does help him a lot. It would help a lot with Bunny, especially if she has that electric charge if you just keep running around. But for me, I don't think my PS4 would handle me running around with Bunny, especially with that skill. The next one we're going to go with is Agony, which is a rare one. It's going to max your MP by 8.5% and your defense by 38.5%. Now as you can see with AJAX, he's a tank, so anything that would increase the HP and defense would be your go-to. As you can see on the left side, the applied value, I have max XP at 218%. The defense at 365% of the maximum, which goes to tell you that even though in the videos you can see that the shield is broken, the HP really rarely goes down. That's because the shield is something you don't really have to focus on, because right now it's still broken in Season 0, and even though it does feel like you are taking a lot of damage because the game shows you that red screen, you are really just scratching the surface with regards to AJAX. The next one we're going to go with is the increased defense. Again, as I was mentioning earlier, AJAX is a tank, so anything that has to do with defense and attack is welcome. Now, of course, here I've maxed it out to the max, and you have a 160.4% increase in the defense for AJAX. Last but not least is the shield conversion for defense. Again, one more for defense is going to increase your defense by 166% and your max shield by minus 36.5, which is why you see a lot of the videos that I have, especially the ones with the Colossi, the max shield or the shield itself breaks super quickly, but as I mentioned, the defense or your red health is much higher. So this concludes it for these. Of course, if you have more money and Cooper, you can always increase the values of each module, which would of course increase the not only the capacity of each one, but it would increase the value and the effects on the Descendant. Now moving on to the weapon, the tamer, as I mentioned earlier in this video, is still the meta. Now here this build is going to be 158,000 DPS. Now of course you can find much higher DPSs in the game or on YouTube videos, but these guys have already leveled up the gun not only to the maximum, but they've leveled up all the modules for this gun to the max, whereas for me I just started doing that. Now as far as the tamer goes, mine is a level 100. You see the maximum DPS is 314,663. I'm going with rifling reinforcement. Now this one, before I even equipped it on this guy, I saw that a lot of the guys on YouTube were using it. I think pretty much every single YouTuber or guy who finished the game before I even started the game was talking about the rifling reinforcement. Now this does increase your attack to 32%, and it's pretty much always welcome for any weapon. Now the tamer is a machine gun, so you will have very minimal recoil and high speed bullet as well as high damage, so it's pretty much one of the best weapons you can have right now in the game. Again, we're on season 0, even post the updates 1.06, 1.07, 1.08, and 1.09, it still remains a very, very powerful weapon. The second module we're going to go with is the action and reaction, which increases again the firearm attack by 40.3% and the recoil by 13.3%. The third one is going to be the bullet rain. This one again, it's going to increase the fire rate. Already the tamer, the default version does have a high fire rate, but with this fire rate, as you can see in the video, I just keep on beaming the Colossi. The only thing stopping me is really the need to recharge the gun. Otherwise, I could be going on forever and pretty much if I had unlimited bullets, I would just kill the Colossi very, very quickly. Now again, this one also increases the firearm attack by 1%. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. The next module is the concentration priority, which is going to increase your firearm critical hit damage by 38.9%. This is really the percentage that you want to get those critical hits. These are not only great for the Colossi, but for the normal enemies. Sometimes you just kill people without even seeing them because it's just that powerful. Now the reload time modifier does decrease by 10.2, so it is a bit quicker, which is also very good with machine guns. Honestly, in this game, the machine guns are not that slow to reload, contrary to other FPS games. But you know, anything that's beneficial is always welcomed. The next one is the better insight, which increases your again your critical hit rate by 14.8%. As I mentioned earlier, that's always a good thing to have. Last but not least is the weak point insight. Now this one, it does do a lot of weak point damage. You get 9.3% extra damage for those. These are usually better for the Colossi because usually the Colossi are the only enemies that you actually scan with your R3 button in order to see the weak points. You don't really have to do it. I did it in this video just to show you guys and talk later about this module, but honestly the first time I've killed all the Colossi, I didn't even bother. I didn't even, to be honest, I just skipped through all the tutorials, so I didn't even know that you could scan for the weak points. I didn't even know that you could remove some parts of the Colossi, which I've done in other videos, but you know, you don't really have to do it with the tamer. The tamer is really that powerful. And that pretty much sums it up. As you can see, even though the model capacity is 62 out of 80, I do have a lot of margin. This one usually I keep for two things. First one is by the time that I level up all these, I'll probably be around like 70, and then the last remaining 10 would be depending on the Colossi. Now I did all this video with this exact build, so you don't really have to do it. But for example, in the hard mode, if you would have like a Colossi that is more susceptible to toxic damage, I would pretty much add a module that has to do with toxic, either toxic enhancement or toxic, I think it was toxic rounds. So anything that would actually help you in terms of the elemental weakness of that Colossi. But that's again for another video, only for the hard Colossi. I still haven't killed all the hard ones. The only hard one that I've killed is pretty much the first one, which is not really a big deal, and it was on a group, so it's not in a solo. But once that is done, I will show you guys the video. I think that is pretty much it. If you have any other questions, please let me know in the comment section below. I'm not going to do a very long video because yeah, pretty much people who watch these videos, including myself, I just want to get to the point and see it as quick as possible. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Take it easy and have fun.